Hey everybody, John Napolitano here with you. Hope everybody's doing well. One topic, this is going to be a short video. I just wanted to cover one topic in this video, and it's a very important one, and it's one that a lot of people have asked me over the years since I'm doing it. I'm a professional trader. I've been trading my own capital since 2016. Prior to 2016, I worked on the institutional side for a large asset manager on their trading desk. So I have both, individual retail experience as a trader as well as institutional experience. So people do come to me and they ask me the age old question, and that is, how the heck do I quit my job? I really want to do this full time. I have a passion for the markets. I think that it's something I really want to pursue, but I just can't give up the fact that I get a steady paycheck every week or every month or whatever it might be. And I completely understand 100%. The advice that I give them, and the advice that I'm going to give all of you, is that the great thing about trading is that you don't have to do this like a light switch. You don't have to just walk into your job one day and say, I quit, tell your boss to get lost, and move on. I know there's a lot of people there. Joe Rogan actually quoted this the best. He said that there's something called quiet desperation. And that's what a lot of individuals feel like at their job, where they're just sitting there in the cubicle and they're grinding away. And they might be making really good money. They might be happy in other aspects of their life, like their marriage and their personal life. And they might actually have really good colleagues that they work with. Throughout my career, I worked with wonderful people. So I don't have any regrets for spending 20 plus years working on the corporate side. But you know what? There is something to be said about just kind of slaving away every single day in, day out, doing the same job. And it does drive people crazy sometimes. And it's a quiet crazy. It's not like you just lose your mind and start throwing things like you see on some of the movies and stuff like that. Like Office Space was a great movie that kind of depicted that. But it's not like that. It's usually a gradual, slow, kind of soul sucking sort of feeling, and it's terrible. And next thing you know, 20, 30 years go by. All the things you wanted to do just didn't happen because you were too busy working, and that's it. Now you're retired, and now you can't. Maybe you're busy doing other things. You don't have the time to enjoy the things you want to enjoy. So my advice to you is this: start slow. Develop a plan that makes sense for you and your personality. With swing trading, with basket trading, the stuff that I do, you can work full time and do what I do. There's no reason why you can't work 9 to 5 and still throw on a couple of trades every week and manage a basket and a portfolio. You could do it, on your lunch hour. You could sneak away. If people could sneak away for a cigarette or for a coffee, you could sneak away and just check your positions a couple of times a day or once a day or something like that. So there's really no excuse to kind of start off slow. And while you're starting off slow, develop your exit strategy. Think to yourself, well, what is my setup going to look like? How many hours a week am I going to work? Am I semi-retiring? Is this something where I've already worked 20 years and I'm kind of easing into a second career? Or do you want to work, or do you want to trade full time? Maybe you're younger and you just want to work for yourself and give this a chance. My advice to you is you can't trade scared. You can't say, oh, I got to make the rent this month, so I need to make $5,000. If you have that mindset when you're trading, it's very hard to be successful, because what's happening is you're forcing trades that normally maybe you wouldn't take, right? So these are the pitfalls that you'll encounter if you try to just do it the incorrect way. So my advice to you is to start off small, develop a trade plan, and then once you develop a trade plan and you start small, whether it be in a sim account or whether it be in a real money account, then you can start developing your consistency. And consistency is obviously the key, because you want to replace your paycheck with consistent trading returns. And the way to do that is to not hit home runs. Have a process similar to mine, where you're basket trading, where you're making small bets, and you're hitting singles and doubles every single day. And yeah, occasionally you strike out. That's okay. You know what I mean? But you live to fight another day. That's really what trading is all about. One single trade shouldn't matter in your life. It should be a consistent approach. It should be something that you're doing over and over again that works, and that you're constantly trying to improve and you're constantly trying to tweak. Because as the markets evolve and change, you have to evolve and change. I tell my students that all the time. They have to, if you have a certain option strategy that works and that's worked consistently for several months, it might be because volatility is really high right now, or it might be because volatility is low right now, or it might be because the market's in an uptrend or downtrend or whatever. And then all of a sudden the market changes and you're sitting there scratching your head wondering, why doesn't my plan work? It's because the market changed on you and you did not adapt to the new environment. So your plan has to not only be consistent, but it has to be flexible, and you have to be humble enough to know when you need to make some changes. And it's not even a matter of being humble sometimes. It's just a matter of having a flexible enough plan to say, okay, if the market does this, this is what I'm going to do. If the market does that, that's what I'm going to do, and so on and so forth. So once you've developed that, once you have consistency, once you have a plan that's flexible and works for you, and you start seeing some consistent returns, then you could consider doing it full time. And when you do it full time, you run the risk of over trading. You run the risk of doing stuff, like I said, now it's all up to you. And sometimes feeling that pressure could make you unsuccessful. So make sure you just ease into it. I wouldn't necessarily do it all at once. One thing you might want to do is take a month off if you can, if you have vacation time saved up at your job, or take 2 weeks off or something like that. And trade full time, like almost like a staycation. Like don't go anywhere. Go home and pretend like you quit your job, kind of like doing like a trial run, so to speak. I know you're kind of killing your vacation days, but that's kind of a good way of getting in the mindset of doing it every day to see what it's really like. You might not like it. You might think that's a grind too, sitting in front of a computer all day. What's great about what I do is I really only need to trade a couple hours a day. I do day trade too, so I like doing both. That's another thing. You can develop a strategy where you're swing trading, similar to what I teach, the basket trading of options, where your targets are weeks and months out. At the same time, you could develop some intraday, shorter term strategies at the same time, where you're kind of splitting your time between day trading and swing trading. So there's nothing wrong with doing that either, because then your day trading kind of takes the place of your full-time job. But again, these are all things that can be done slowly and gradually over time. So I understand the quiet desperation. I get it. I've been there. I've done that. What's great about having a game plan or a plan B is that quiet desperation starts to go away. Even if you're sitting at your full-time job, let's say you hate your full-time job, knowing that you're working towards something will actually help your mental health. It'll actually help you'll have something up your sleeve, right? So, and then if God forbid you get laid off or fired or something like that happens, you already have a plan B you could kind of slip into, right? So these are all things that I tell my students. You don't have to just jump ship right away and do that, okay? So again, start slow, take your time, and go from there, okay? So I hope this little bit of advice was helpful. A lot of people were asking about it, and I think that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. Again, it's just my opinion, but I've seen people successful and I've seen people not successful, and the successful ones always have a game plan. It was well thought out, and they did it over time. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to all of you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Happy trading, and I will talk to you guys soon, everybody. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.